welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. So we're coming up to full moon. I usually work with the full moon the day before, the day that it's fullest, and the day after. So I've already started some work myself around this full moon. And if you are interested in working with the energy of the moon, during a full moon is usually where we kind of make our declaration of things that we want to release. So things that maybe aren't working for you, or that you've been really observing in your life as like, I want to make a change to this, or I want to release this habit, or anything like that basically. And this particular moon phase is all about beauty and forgiveness. It's all about really being present and understanding like the beauty within your life, within your world. And it's accessing that, you know, when you can forgive yourself for your past, you can really look at all of the aspects of yourself through your life and understand each and every one of those as that is part of me. That journey I took there when I was younger, or whenever, or that job that I did, or that decision that I made, that relationship that I had, it was all necessary for your growth. It was all necessary to mold you into the person that you are today. And today is about really honouring that person and what you've been through, you know, whether the battles are big or small, whether the achievements are big or small, whatever it is that you've been through in your life or that's happening for you or to you. It's just about really honouring who you are and why you're exactly where you are right now, okay? So I'm going to pick some archetype cards and these cards might represent yourself, in which case this is definitely your reading. If they don't represent you, but they sound like somebody that you know, then this also could be a reading for you with information in it based around this person that you're interested in potentially. So let's get into it and see what we have. So let's see what the 4 cards are that are coming through. I'm sensing a little bit of fear or doubt in your world at this time, maybe with a decision that you're looking to make. There is something about forgiveness of yourself in a situation. Let's just see what we have on here. Oh, okay, so we've got... how many cards? Oh, okay. I'm actually going to take all of those. We've got 5 cards here. I'm actually... oh, sorry. I'm going to have to just tilt that down slightly so that you can see. Yeah, it went all funky then. I'm not sure what that was all about. Let's see. Right. I've taken my sling off today, but my arm is still... I have to be very careful with it. So we've got Addict, Destroyer, Beggar, Virgin, and Healer. Okay, so I'm going to have a little look through these, but already what I'm starting to see here is maybe through your life you've had some addictiveness to your personality. So that might be addiction to certain types of people, places, substances, that kind of thing. And some of these is where you're starting to recognise behaviours and things that you are finding comfort in that maybe are holding you back from really fully embracing your life at this time. And with the Destroyer there, it's almost like you're recognising how maybe these addictions, these habits are kind of self-sabotaging. I feel there's a pattern that you've acknowledged, that you've recognised, where it's like, you know, when you get to a certain point, maybe in a job or in a relationship or something, where there's a sabotaging thing that happens, and it seems to be a similar pattern that happens there. But it's all based around, in some respects, like intoxication, something that intoxicates you, that once it's happened, you're like, oh, here we go again. We're in this cycle. And it's really difficult to break that cycle, I feel. Now, part of this cycle actually does relate to you feeling like you are empowered or standing in your power, standing on your own 2 feet financially, or having your own property, having your own environment, things like that. Whereas I feel in the past, you've perhaps felt a little bit like you've had to ask for help, or people need to help you all the time. Yeah, you just become quite dependent on the needs, like other people needing to help you, and it aggravates you. I feel like it irritates you to the point where then there's a cycle of like, right, I'm going to do better, I'm going to change what I'm doing, and you might change your job or change your relationship or something. And for a little while, it begins again. It's like change is good to you. Like change is the impulse of change helps you to step out of yourself or the aspects of yourself that you've been struggling with. But then ultimately the pattern arises again, and there's that cycle again. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay, so if that resonates with you, then this is definitely a reading for you. Now we've also got Healer and Virgin on this one, so I'm going to just have a little look with these two, because there's the light attributes of the Virgin is maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit, and the shadow attribute is fear of intimate union. So it might be that perhaps you do struggle with allowing people to get close to you in maybe relationships and things. When you start to feel somebody getting close, there's a fear there of being intimate. And when I say intimate, I don't always mean sexually. It could also be fear of allowing yourself to be vulnerable emotionally, or allowing yourself to really be seen fully. It's almost like somebody's always got a suitcase or a rucksack packed by the door, ready. Almost like you, with the destroyer card on there, it's almost like, because you know at some point there's going to be something that happens that's going to be like, oh, well, it's all over, so I'll just carry my bag, I'll take my bag and I'll be off. And then the cycle repeats again. Now the Healer is what I feel, because there's 5 cards that came out here. We said we were going to pick 4, didn't we? So there's always a reason why there's a 5th card, and I feel like the 5th card is this Healer card. And what this is speaking about is, it says here, passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind and spirit, ability to help transform pain into healing. And I feel like that is what you have been doing. And that's why I said at the beginning, is all through your life there's been these different aspects of yourself, different versions of you that you have had to be. And right now in your life, it's like you're kind of molding all of those together and forgiving yourself and really honouring those aspects of yourself, really seeing them as being you, being part of you, and you're seeing the beauty within the pain. You may be seeing a lot of magpies around. Magpies are symbolic of this for you at this time. So if you've been seeing magpies, maybe even magpies feeding their young, that kind of thing, it's like nurturing that beauty within the pain and understanding, actually, this was all necessary for me to understand who I am right now and where I want to be. And there's a little bit of an energy of sort of, in the past you may have perhaps taken advantage of people's good nature and things like that, whereas I feel like something may have happened recently to you where you kind of felt the shoe on the other foot with this one, where you maybe are starting to realise, actually, I want to be of service to others, I want to help other people. And sometimes we can do that and then bypass actually helping ourselves. Like the healing needs to come to you first before anybody else. A bit like on an aeroplane, you need to put your mask on before you can help anybody else. So that's necessary for you to know, is like, don't bypass your own healing by running out the door to help other people. This is still part of your journey of what you need to do for you. So I'm going to pick some runes now to go with those. If that does resonate with you so far, then my details are down in the description box. If you would like to book a personalised reading, we can go a lot more in depth with those. So let's see what your runes are today. Yeah, we have Isa. So you've really been observing yourself. You've really been looking at the maybe ego part of you. So that's your identity. The ego can be broken down into 3 parts. We've got the ID, the ego, and then the super ego. And each of them are important. And they can relate to sort of like your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and your self-pity. And we sort of drop and weave into each one of those throughout our day, throughout the things that we have to do. But you are starting to really understand more, you know, what drives your self-esteem, what raises your confidence, and keeping in check that self-pity, you know, validating yourself for how you feel and how you think, but not allowing yourself to drop into deep, dark places that are holding you back in that destroyer energy. So you've made a decision, I feel, that you're going to break this pattern, you're collapsing this pattern. But you can only do that by really being in the arena, by actually putting yourself out there. So for instance, if this is to do with relationship patterns, you have to be in a relationship to really understand that you've integrated what you've learned and put it into practice. You can't do that by being on your own. You have to be in a relationship. Same with if this is to do with work, a pattern that is sabotaging within your work. You need to be able to take a job and then utilize and put forward what you've learned. Okay, because it all comes from, we can always say like, oh yeah, I'm healed, I've done the inner work, I've done this and that, but you never really know what work you've done until you are challenged in life, in a situation where you're like, actually, I've got an opportunity to put this to the test now. Okay, so that's what Issa is kind of talking about there, is being in the moment and understanding, here's an opportunity for me to break the cycle, break the pattern. And we have Wunyo. Now, this sometimes does symbolise a new relationship. So I do feel for many of you, this could be a lot about you looking into yourself in relationships, how you are in relationships and what you bring and what you can change within you, because you've had a realisation that the only common factor in every single relationship is yourself. You've had this realisation and you are forgiving yourself for the past. You're starting to understand, okay, well, this had to happen for this to happen, and you know, it's the way things go. And you knew what you knew then, but when you know better, you do better. But Wunyo is also about this ecstatic joy and a feeling of allowing yourself to really drop into that joy, seeing that beauty within the pain, understanding, actually, this is part of my growth. This is part of my soul journey here, and recognizing how I can actually unlimit myself. I can actually, you know, allow that version of myself to really be present and be understood and be seen. And it does bring you into a path of harmony, I feel. There is going to be more harmony from this. There's always going to be challenges, but there is more harmony coming for you and opportunities for harmony. And it's actually creating you aligning with a flow of energy. Now, you are following your intuition, I feel, at this time. And I do feel as well that you've been having some dreams, which you may not normally dream or remember your dreams, but there's something quite prolific about a dream that you've had recently that's stuck in your mind. And it could be about a specific person or a place, something that keeps flashbacking in your mind about this particular dream. And it gladdened your heart. I feel like it made you feel happy, it made you feel content, and you didn't really realise that that would make you feel that way. But now you've kind of decided, yeah, that does make me feel that way. So this is the Dreamer's Rune, and Lagos talks about, it's the flow of energy of water and emotion, and I feel like there is a real want to have emotional fulfillment at this time, and that emotional fulfillment is what is driving this like new relationship or new sort of like, yeah, this new happiness. Like Wunyo can sometimes represent like that honeymoon period of a relationship when you first meet somebody and you first start going out and it's all really nice and, you know, it feels like you're on holiday constantly, that kind of thing. That's the energy I'm getting from this. So if that hasn't happened for you already, then expect that to happen very soon. I feel like it could be within the next 2 weeks. And it is giving you that opportunity to show yourself how much you've grown, how much you've really integrated. So we are going to work with, I've already got that, the tarot now, to see what is this current situation. What are we talking about at this time? Put those back, I think. Ooh, Tower just came out there. So there's sudden change. I do feel there is quite a change of mind, change in your heart. Ooh. We have the Knight of Cups, so that's a romantic card as well. And we have the Three of Wands as well. So with the Knight of Cups, it's kind of like, I do feel maybe you're seeking companionship, or you're seeking a I said commitment then, didn't I? A connection. It's a romantic relationship that you're looking for. And with the Three of Wands, this is you're preparing for it. It's almost like you've done all this work because you are just in the preparation stages of moving towards this. You're really exploring like a way forward in the right kind of way. It's almost like you're putting preparations together to bring maybe a romantic gesture towards, but that's how you're seeing, and that it really goes in line with this moon, because it's all, like I say, about beauty, but also seeing that beauty within the pain. So it's almost taking all the heartache, all of the experiences that you've had that perhaps have hurt you, and you're taking those and making, bringing forward a version of you that is going to bring everything that you ever wanted. And I do feel and sense that this is going to be reciprocated because you have taken the time to really focus on this, to really think about this. And there is forward movement here. There is definitely a forward movement happening. So let's see what this challenge is at this time. Oh, there we go. That flew out, didn't it? So we've got the Ace of Swords on here. Now, the challenge here is that you've had this kind of epiphany, you've had this realization, like a new idea, but you've been overanalyzing it. It's like you constantly going over and over and over it in your mind, and there's a truth I feel that is being held within, that isn't being exposed, and this is what they want you to tell you is part of this journey that you've been on, collapsing these patterns and breaking that self-sabotaging way. It's about allowing that truth to be heard or to be spoken, or, just allowing that to be seen, because that is what's going to collapse that pattern. That's what's going to break it. And that's the challenge right here, is because you've had a new idea, you've got this, you've had this sort of epiphany, if you like, but you're overanalyzing it and holding something within that needs to be expressed, I feel, needs to be brought out. You've really, really been assessing this and trying to gather as much information as possible. You've really been thinking about this. And they want you to know that it's almost like you've already put a lot of hard work in. You can be proud of yourself for that, and you can really say to yourself, like, yeah, I've done well there. I've done really, really well. And honour that, just take a breath and take a moment to think, like, well, exactly where I am right now, I'm content. I'm happy with who I am and where I am. But you want to challenge yourself. You want to see how much you've learned. And that means stepping into something new, doesn't it? So what do you need to focus on? I'm going to go with that one. So at this time, what you need to focus on, they're suggesting on here, is this: what inspires you, what this new direction is. Oh, okay. And we've got the Seven of Cups as well that fell out. I just noticed that on the floor there. So there's a lot of options that you have at this time, and you kind of need to focus on one. And it's something that you have wanted to manifest, what it is that you've been trying to manifest. I do feel it is appearing in your life already, or you've had this realization that it's there, but you aren't being honest about it. You're holding this truth within. You're not really expressing that. And then going back to the drawing board of like, yeah, but what about this option or that option? And it's almost like it takes the power out of the passion here. It takes the power out of this idea, this newness. And there's a lot to do with a new idea, a new way that you're approaching something. So just be aware of that, because, having too many options, sometimes it can really twist your noodle. It can really make you feel like you don't know where to turn or what to do. And it's almost like you need to go with the one that's hiding within, that truth that's within there. Release that, let it out. Just saw 1919 on there. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. Maybe go and check that out for angel numbers. There's a fear of being stabbed in the back. There's a fear of being hurt I'm getting from this. You're afraid to, I feel, open up and be vulnerable in some respects because of what you've been through before. But bringing that into something new is only going to create this self-sabotaging effect. It's that bag by the door, ready to go sort of thing, because, oh, I'm going to get hurt and I don't want to get hurt, so I'm not going to open up fully. But you know now, through the work that you've done, actually, I do need to be fully present with this and trust. So what do you need to leave behind? What is in the past here? Okay, Seven of Pentacles has come out again. So what is in the past here? And we've got Strength in reverse on the bottom as well. So this is kind of like fear, doubt, self-sabotage. It's what needs to be released. And you've started to really realise that. It's like once you've seen it, now you know, and you have assessed the situation and you're realising, yeah, it's me that's self-sabotaging this. It's me that's doubting this. And really what you need is to have courage and faith that what you have worked on here, the seeds that you've planted, what you've been trying to manifest, you are going to reap those rewards, but you have to let go of doubt and sabotage. So is there a strength in here? What are your strengths at this time? Because it's always good to know what your strengths are, isn't it? What is your strength at this time? So we've got the King of Swords on here. So your strength at this time is about being a leader. It's about you really clearly thinking and understanding, like, I need to own my truth and I need to speak my truth. I need to be brave and I need to be courageous, because it's almost like you can reach the summit of that mountain. With a little bit of drive, with a little bit of honesty within yourself, you can reach that. And it's going to feel amazing when you get there, because it's going to feel so much more clear in your mind. And it does feel to me that it starts with communication. There's something that you need to communicate, get off your chest and say. And it does feel like it's going to go better than you expect. It's not going to be like, there's a lot of creatures on here that kind of suggest about the shadow aspects, and I feel that you need to understand that, that beauty in the pain that we were talking about before, and really accessing that and understanding, like, I don't need to beat myself up over this anymore. And I don't need to hide it either. I just need to be authentic and actually be brave and courageous and go, this is the facts. These are the facts. And that's what this is talking about. It's like being honest with the facts. And in a new relationship, in new things that are right for you, that work for you, if you're honest like that, they will work out for you. If it's not meant for you, then it will destroy everything, won't it? But at least you'll know by being truthful, by being authentic, by being honest. And that is what is coming through as your strength. That's your strength right now. So what does the future look like for this then? If that's your strength on there. What is the future here? What's it looking like? So yeah, I do feel like this is the beginning of a love reading, if I'm honest. It does feel that way, definitely, of something aligning and flowing with you. So we've got the sun that just came out on there, which is a very, very joyful, good omen. It's basically talking about what you wanted to manifest, what you have been trying to manifest is coming into fruition. This is your future. This is your near future. So what you've been worried about, you don't need to be worried about anymore, but you do need to make a choice on it. And you need to have that clarity of mind, that clear thinking and clear speaking as well. Because as with anything with the sun, it can warm us, it can bring us life force, but it can also burn us if we expose ourselves to it for too long, or we aren't smart with it, or we don't respect it. And that's part of this, is sort of like, you can have this. This is in your future. But it's saying about be aware of yourself in the situation so you don't get your fingers burned by not fully being authentic and truthful. What is your advice? How can we advise you on that? So what advice do we have for you right now? Let's have a look. smell like lemons today, and I'm not sure why they smell like lemons. Don't know if lemon means anything to you. Maybe you've been looking for that. Okay, so we've got your advice is about things being in balance, giving and receiving, and always making sure that you've got that in check. And you are going through a transition right now. You're heading towards calmer waters. You've gone from quite stressful situation where there's been an imbalance between giving and receiving to now moving into something that is more balanced with giving and receiving. And I feel like you have an understanding on that now. And that's part of the Easter energy we've got here, is your observation of yourself, where you're starting to realise, okay, somebody's done this for me, I'm going to do this for them then. And you're starting to realise and actually enjoy the balance of that giving and receiving. And the more you do that, the more in balance you become. And it makes this transition a lot smoother. And you are heading for calmer waters. You are moving to that point where it's like, you know, when the water's all choppy, you can't see what's going on, but you're allowing things to just be organic, if you like, move just slowly, and things being in balance, things being in check. And it's actually feeling quite good, I do believe. It feels like harmony. That's what the biggest part of this reading at the moment is about, things coming into harmony and balance and joy, ecstatic joy and flow. So, what is your environment at the moment? So your environment at the moment is all about gathering knowledge and messages as well. So it's almost like receiving those messages, whether that's through spirit or whether that is actually through communicating with somebody else. But it's almost like you've become a student of life again. You are enjoying learning about yourself and learning about somebody else, I feel, as well. And I do feel that there's somebody in your life right now that doesn't realise it. It's almost like it's in secret, but they're guiding you into understanding yourself better. You kind of like, through them, you're seeing yourself better. And it feels like, without even realising it, without actually directly doing this, they are kind of empowering you and helping you to be the best version of yourself and to find a new way in life that's like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. This is a good idea. And this feels refreshing, or this feels brand new. This feels like it makes me want to feel alive. It makes me feel younger. It makes me feel good. And that's what I'm getting from this, is in your environment right now is like, it's like you're a fresh student, just learning all over again, learning something new. Like you're on this brand new course, but you're really enjoying it. And you're gathering so much information from that. Sometimes I feel it does scare you. Sometimes I feel there is fear around it and you step back, but then you come forward again. And there is this communication going on, which feels good. Let me just see. Kestrels are a bird as well to observe, because I feel like you've been seeing a lot of kestrels. You know, those are the small birds. They look a bit like pigeons and they hover in the air. And something interesting about them is that they conserve their energy. They only move when they have to, and they don't waste any energy or time. And they take a different perspective and they hover and wait till it's time to go in. And I feel like that's where you're at the moment, is that you've learned a new way of doing things. Instead of rushing in, or instead of doing things the way that you would normally do, you're now taking a higher perspective and being able to be like, okay, I'm in control here of myself, and I will move in when it feels right for me. And it feels like everything's kind of, through divine timing, is allowing that to happen, and you're trusting and feeling safe in that space, is what I'm feeling. There's an end to struggle and burden here. You have been very, very burdened, and I see somebody, it's almost like you're boxing things up, or like you're ready to move house, like you are ready to pack up some stuff. But instead of doing what you'd normally do, which would be to move away, run away, get away from something that's bothering you, this is more, you're unpacking stuff from the past, unpacking it to say, I'm done. I'm not going to carry you around anymore because you are weighing me down. So you're lightening your load. You're kind of energetically clearing, having an energetic clear out. And it is making things a lot lighter, a lot brighter for you. You could be moving house, and this is symbolic of you boxing things up, but it's boxing things up to not take them with you. That's what I'm feeling. So what are your hopes and fears within this? Because there is definitely a new beginning for you, and it feels really lovely. It feels like a brand new start, and you almost don't recognise yourself when you're in this, because it just makes you feel so light, so good. So what are your hopes and fears at this time? Okay, so we've got hopes and fears on here. We've still got that 10 of wands on the bottom as well. So it's like, you know, again, reinforcing that need to let go of the burden. We've got your hopes and fears is that you can mend something, is that you can work together with somebody, is that you, yes, instead of something happening and then somebody going, right, I've got to go now, I'm leaving, or like that's ruined everything. You've kind of come out of a crossroads and a stalemate, if you like, and where you would normally block, you've actually decided, no, it's time to repair instead. Let's get the needle and thread and actually start working together to repair this, rather than blocking each other and being stagnant and things not moving. But there is that fear of that happening again. But that's purely because of the memories you hold of the past, of things that may have happened before. But try not to bring that with you. Like with that 10 of wands there, unpack it. See it for what it is, unpack it, and don't take it with you. Because you do have an opportunity to mend this. You do have an opportunity here, as your hope is to, you know, really kind of just be a team player and form a plan of action that works. Yeah, it's like everybody being compliant with each other and being in harmony with each other. And that's kind of like what your hopes are, is that can work, that can be the case. And it does mean collaborating. I do see like a merging of people together. It's almost like an extension to a family or something. What is the outcome on this? I'm not going to take that one. What is the outcome on this? Let's see. Well, the Queen of Swords nearly came out then. That would have been interesting, because your strengths are the King of Swords. Oh, hang on. Oh, my shuffling isn't going very well, is it? What is your outcome at this time on here? I like it when the cards just fly out like that. Okay, so your outcome is about skill, mastery, and alchemy. There is definitely something about combining yourself with somebody else who's on the same page as you, same wavelength as you. This is something, again, that manifestation power, like with the sun. You are where you're at right now with this new beginning and this idea coming to you because you manifested it. You have brought this into your life, and you don't want to lose, you don't want to waste the potential. There is an energy here of, if you try to manipulate too much around this for it to be in the way that you want it to be, again, that sun, it might burn your fingers. You may get burnt in doing that. Instead, it's about collaboration, being open and honest, and that's the best kind of teamwork, is where everybody's on the same page, everybody knows what's happening. And that's kind of what the Magician is talking about on here. Is almost like you've been teaching yourself up to this point now, and in time you are going to teach others as well. It's almost like you are doing what you're doing here, and you will realize that really worked for me, and I feel like I can see you actually being of service to other people and helping them to carve that path for themselves as well. There's a lot more to this connection than you realize, than you understand. There is a power here and a skill that is being formed, that's being brought to your attention. So that might come out in a further reading after this. But the next 3 months, 1 to 3 months, are going to be like a honeymoon period. It's going to feel very joyful, very ecstatic, like happy. You're going to really feel that energy of like everything feels good. And in that energy is where you're going to start to bring more of that to you. So that can then bring, you know, an abundance to you, like financially, in your job, in your relationship. Things are just going to feel like they're falling into place. And it's because you unpacked all of those boxes, you unpacked all of that stuff that you've been carrying around, that burden, and you're realising like, I don't need to do that anymore. And there's all this brand new energy coming in. You know, no more self-sabotage, no more allowing yourself to be taken in by intoxication. Instead, you are allowing yourself to be that healer for you. And in time, you will be helping others in that way too. So I'm going to leave this reading here for you. If that resonates with you and you would like to know more on your personal level for you, my details are in the description box, so please do get in touch, and I will wish you a blessed evening.